Yeah, good evening, everybody. In the last video, I just abruptly ended because the maximum time was over 15 minutes. So, just I want to recapitulate. We were discussing the sprinkler irrigation design. So, we were talking about various formulae and their usefulness there. And we will continue this sprinkler irrigation design and all. Uh, Let me open as usual this PowerPoint presentation. Uh, so, under the design of sprinkler irrigation, you will have this irrigation interval. Actually, we were discussing this also. It is simply the length of time allowable between successive irrigations during the peak consumptive use of the crop. What is an irrigation interval means? Uh, Time allowable between successive irrigations. For example, the irrigation we did it today, and suppose if it takes maybe 3 4 days after, so maybe a 1 week or 10 days, whatever it is. So that interval, that period, 4 days or 10 days, that takes between the two irrigations, the time, that all depends upon the soil moisture conditions and all. That too, this is termed during peak consumptive use of the crop. Of course, when it will vary, it is not a constant, because at the early stages, when the root zone depth that was not been fully developed, normally um, the interval may be less. That means within few days, and you have to do it. And when the crop has grown, then interval may be bigger. So that is what. Now, one important thing is water application rate in the sprinkler irrigation. Let us examine. The rate of water application by sprinklers is limited by the infiltration capacity of the soil. This is very important. Infiltration depends upon the infiltration capacity of the soil. The rate of application of the water is depending upon. Actually, the excess application results in runoff and soil loss. Again, it is like a, resembling the rain. Just like when you have more rain, how runoff occurs and then soil get eroded. In similar fashion, if you are applying more water to sprinkler, similar things can also get occur. Okay, so that is what regarding this water application rate. Let us see. There is a table here. Suggested maximum water application rates in centimeters per hour for various soils and slopes. Given the soil profiles here, and then various slopes within that soil profile, and what is the application, that means so many centimeters per hour, the depth of water for each irrigation. Um, Here is a mistake, it is 2.03. Okay, 2.3 actually, it's not 03. Anyway, okay. Now, coarse sandy soil up to 2 meters. It's a sandy soils up to 2 meters. So, what is as the slope increases, you can see the application rate decreases 5 to 5 centimeters per hour to 1.3 centimeters per hour in a very slopy area, 12 to 16% slope. Okay, across the soils, what is happening? How the soils are arranged here? Sandy soils to heavy textured clay or clay looms. So sandy soils, you will have very high application depth of application, more water, to slowly it gets reduced. How it get reduced? For example, the same coarse sandy soil is over more compact soils. That means a little bit it will try to not allow the water to go beyond that soil thickness. So that's why if that layer is absent here, but that compact layer is present here, so less water, you can say water. So like that, light sandy looms, because loam has been added compared to the earlier sandy soils, whether that layer, compact layer is present or not, still reduced. If the compact layer is present, still some more water application is reduced. So likewise, silt loam, and then it is fine grained soils, it is arranged. It is goes on decreasing. Okay. And across the soils, as the slope increases, it is decreasing, because the more slope, runoff will be there, so you cannot apply more water, and that water will be allowed. Okay, if less slope is there, you can apply more, so that it will be allowed. More slope is there, you cannot apply more water. So only frequency of irrigations you have to increase. So this is what all about suggested maximum water application rates. That means if the specific data is not available, you can take this table for a design purpose. And this is something like a queue, if you have a number of hectares in your land, and by and large the soil, and of course the crop also you can decide, and this will give you the queue, the total queue. Once you get the queue, then you can divide amongst your sprinklers, because each discharge of the sprinkler is given, and also earlier also spacing, the each sprinkler, how much spacing, that queue comes, then a small queue comes, bigger queue, and then each sprinkler discharge, each nozzle discharge, and if there are two nozzles, you add it up, and then this queue you will get. So then you will have a spacing. So like this, you can utilize these formulae for a design purpose. Now let us talk about this again, this water application rate. Still, the rate of water application by sprinkler is limited by infiltration capacity of the soil, that is already we have talked about, but excess application results in runoff and soil loss. The soil loss, because normally the sprinkler irrigations are mostly applied on a little bit relatively water scarcity areas, number one, and salty waters also there, number two, and then the somewhat different slopes, more slopey areas. That's why soil loss should not occur, because land leveling is not so much, not strict. So your application rate should be such that you should not have any soil loss. Now we are talking about maximum spacing of sprinklers under windy conditions. You can see here, first of all, sprinkler spacing. In order to achieve uniformity of wetting in the sprinkler irrigation system, it is necessary to overlap the area of influence of sprinkler. Earlier we have discussed with respect to the very beginning of your spring. Yeah, this is the one. At the center, you will have maximum application around the sprinkler, whereas at the distance less. In order to give uniform application throughout its distance, this is the curve, then you have to overlap these sprinklers. But how much percentage we have to overlap? This is the point here we want to discuss. So if you go back to our present slide, you can see here depends on the wind conditions. So maximum spacing of sprinklers under windy conditions. The average wind speed, if there is no wind, then how much the overlap, what is written here, 65% of spacing should be there. 65% of spacing of the diameter of the water spread area of a sprinkler. So spacing should be, each sprinkler should be spaced at a 65% of the spacing of the diameter. That means 35% is the overlap. This is how it is meaning. 35% should be overlap. Here, if there is a wind 0 to 65 kilometers per hour, if it is under no wind, 35% overlap. It is under some wind which is around 0 to 65 kilometers per hour, 40% overlap should be there. That is how this table should be understood. 40% overlap should be. The spacing is given 60% of the diameter. So 40% of the 40% of the overlap should be there. Similarly, this is 6.5 here. Sorry again. Here 6.5, not 65. 6.5. Here 6.5 to 13 kilometers per hour. 50% should be overlap. Okay. More anything above wind more than 13 kilometers per hour, 70% should be the overlap. This is how the overlap things you must understand. So it is necessary to overlap the area of the influence of the sprinkler. The overlap increases with the increase of wind velocity. That's what we have seen. Here under no wind, it is only 35% overlap. Under less than 6.5 kilometers per hour, it is 40% overlap. And between 6.5 to 13, it is 50% overlap. Above 13 is 70% overlap. This is how it goes on. So the next thing is maximum rates of soil moisture use by crops under different climatic conditions. Suppose a climatic condition in that given place is cool, humid. The peak rate of soil moisture removal, how much mm per day. So suppose your crop is in cool and humid area of the region, of the globe, then maximum of extraction is around 3 mm per day. But it goes on changing. Cool, dry 4 mm, but moderate, humid, though it is a moderate heat, but humidity conditions are there, it's again 4 only, but it is a moderate heat, but dry conditions without any humidity, then 5, and then hot and then humid conditions are there, again 5 only. So it is compensated by humidity here, though it is hot, but hot and dry 8 mm per day. So this much is the removal. Based on that, you should without even if it is information is absent, you can decide how many mm per day you have to put it on that land. A peak demand in the range of 20 to 10 mm depth per day is equivalent to a continuous flow of 0.23 to 1.6 liters per second per hour. So this is how the sprinkler discharge when it is a peak just for a interpretation purpose, a peak demand in the range of 20 to 10 mm, because this by moisture itself this is taking away because of that climatic region, and if you add upon to the crops requirement, then all these things, if it is peak demand is 20 to 10 somewhere around, then the sprinkler discharge is of the order of 0.23 to 1.6 liters per second. So this is all, and this completes the sprinkler irrigation, both its description and design. We will start the drip irrigation in the next video. Thank you very much.